So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our third Jean Armour birthday event on Zoom. And it's 2025, 25th of February, 225's there. Today is Jean Armour's birthday. So, Jean Armour was the wife of Rabbi Burns and had a very long life, unlike himself. And she lived from 1765 to 1834. The idea we had was to do something a wee bit similar to Burns night dinners, which have a kind of format, but maybe a bit more flexible, where we would have a toast, we would have readings or speeches, we would have songs that were particularly those that were associated with Jean, so much Rabbi Burns's muse, which could be accompanied as well. We would also perhaps try and sample some of the delights and foods of Jean's cookbook, and she particularly liked the cookbook of The Art of Cookery Made Plain and Easy by Hannah Glass, including things like Scotch broth and sweet puddings. And then we would have a toast and any other ideas for next year. So to start the evening, I would propose a toast. Mairi, I'd like to propose a toast to Jean Armour, the wife of Rabbi Burns, his muse, and a very wonderful and feisty lady. Cheers. Okay. To start our evening, we are very, very delighted to have Tony Grace beaming in from Calgary, and he's going to read an excerpt from his own speech. So over to you in Calgary, Tony. I think you're about 8 hours behind us, is that right? We're over in the UK side of the pond, so I think you're maybe 8 hours behind us. So thank you so much for beaming in.
Okay. Well, first a word about the Calgary Burns Club. The Calgary Burns Club is just coming up to its 50th anniversary in next year. There was a club in Calgary before that, but somehow over the period of the Second World War, it disappeared, and we have really very, very little information on who was in it and how long it had been around. But a new club was formed in 1976, and as I say, just coming up for our 50th anniversary. Two features of the club I'd like to mention, which we have a group of singers who sing regularly to entertain the club at the monthly meetings, as well as to visit retirement and assisted living homes in Calgary and perform half-hour, 1 hour performances for the people living there. The highlight of the singer's life was appearing at the Edinburgh Military Tattoo in 2009, when we sang on the Esplanade every night. That was quite an experience for all of us. The other group we have is a group called the Carney Group, which is a literary group named after Bob Carney, who was a well-known Burnsian on this side, graduated from St Andrews University, as did I, some time ago. We write papers on Scottish literature, Scottish culture, Scottish history, some aspects. We have about 200 productions in our records, about 100 of which are papers similar to the one I'm going to be reading right now, which happens to be on Jean Armour. So here goes. Jean was a sprightly and affectionate girl, adored by her parents. Her father was intensely proud of her. In return, she had an especially strong bond with him, bordering on adoration. This is borne out by her actions later in her life, when she bowed to his wishes while sacrificing her own aspirations. Growing up in Mauchline, she experienced the usual associations of Scottish village life, and when Burns moved to Mosgiel, she was barely out of her teens. She was described at that time as being a bewitching, vivacious, and attractive brunette with an affectionate nature enhanced by a winsome smile, complete with a pair of very witching dark eyes. According to contemporaries, she had a most enticing figure, and her movements were graceful and easy. She was also gifted with a witty, saucy, and provocative tongue, which no doubt enchanted the sober-minded young men who hoped to court her. One could say she was a complete coquette. She also had a charming soprano voice, learned at the Mauchline Singing School at a time when singing was considered a social grace. This was combined with her being as light as thistledown on her feet and being the most popular dancing partner in the penny reels, which were held weekly in Hugh Morton's ballroom in the village. For a long time, it was assumed that Jean was typical of country girls and was illiterate, but this is not strictly true. Helped by the fact that she was her father's favourite, she appears to have received a more liberal education than was the norm. Her signature is known on a number of documents, and Burns himself wrote several letters to her. After Burns died, she wrote a number of letters demonstrating a basic knowledge of grammar and spelling. It's not clear when Robert and Jean had their first encounter, but it seems fairly definite that it was at Morton's ballroom during race week in Mauchline, which was held in April, and probably in 1785. Although they were both present at this event, they did not actually meet or talk, and the dancing was disrupted by Burns' dog Luath, which insisted on following his master even when he was dancing with girls other than Jean, who overheard him saying to his partner he wished he could get any of the lasses to like him as well as his dog did. We are fortunate that there was a witness to that first real meeting of the pair, Jean's sister Helen, known as Nellie. Apparently, Nellie never forgave Robert for seducing her sister, never recognizing him as a brother-in-law, and later, when she herself had a home of her own, refusing to have his portrait on display or a copy of works in the house. And in this, she was a true Armour. And they say the Scots don't carry grudges. Regardless, on a sunny day later in April 1785, Jean and Nellie were spreading the family washing on the grass at the village bleaching green to whiten in the sun. While resting from their labours, the wind picked up and ruffled the linens, attracting the attention of a passing dog, which of course happened to be Luath, and of course accompanied by his master. The dog soon trampled his dirty feet over the washing, which caused Jean to throw a handful of stones at him, which in turn drew Robert's anger. As harsh words rose in his throat, he saw a beauty, flaming cheeks, dark eyes that sparkled dangerously. He also noticed that her kilted petticoat was pinned high, exposing a pair of rosy, pretty knees. "Lassie," he began, as his eyes took in her enticing figure and sturdy, shapely limbs, "if he had any respect for Poet Burns, he would not be throwing stones at his poor wee dug." Realizing who he was, and in no mood to banter, she turned on him. "I have no respect for Poet Burns, and nor has anyone in this town that I've heard tell of. The sooner he took himself off, and his hateful dog too, the better it would be for all concerned." Then, seeing a look of amazement on his face, she started to laugh. Never, he assured her, had he been spoken to so disrespectfully before, not by a chit of a girl not much older than his respectful young sisters at Moskill. So, with the ice between them melting, he helped her gather up the spoiled linens and take them to the pump for fresh rinsing. They talked and they laughed so long together, reported Nellie afterwards, that she decided to proceed home alone, and with her went a feeling of uneasy apprehension for Jeanie, who at that age was romantic-minded and glaikit, and Robert Burns was undeniably handsome and persuasive, if legend and rumour are to be believed. Okay.
Thank you very much, Tony. And Tony wrote that all himself as well. I was very fortunate when I was looking for information on Jean Armour to happen upon this super speech. So thank you.
If I can just say, Lynn, the full version of that paper is available on the Calgary Burns website. So if anyone wants to read the rest of it, just Google onto Calgary Burns Club and you'll get the paper and a number of other ones. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. So now I'm going to play a video from contribution from Sue Hengelsberg, who has joined us for the previous 2 years, isn't able to join us now. She's going to do a reading from the Jewel. I'm just going to cue that up and then I'll put it up.
And her husband wrote the novel. It's imagined, but based on what we know about the two of them. Jean and Rob are having a conversation about how Rob's father was always hard on him, and Rob felt that it was because he couldn't make up his mind what to do. And Jean says, well, what do you want to do? Ugh, Jeannie, if I knew that, I might be able to set my mind to doing it. If I could spend my days reading and writing, I would. I bet I was a disappointment to him, even on his deathbed. I was a sore disappointment to him. She hesitated, but the truth seemed so clear to her, she had to put it into words. Rob, do you not think that one of the reasons he was so hard on you might have been because he loved you best? He paused, thinking about it. She persisted. Sometimes fathers in particular are harder on the weans they love the most. I should ken that. He must have worried himself sick about you, but it doesn't mean he loved you any less. I think it means he loved you more. Maybe he was more like you than you ever kent. He must have been an adventurous lad. He must have been an adventurous lad, once upon a time, to leave his home and head south the way he did. He sighed. You're a good, kind lass, Jean Armour, and maybe you're right, but it still hurts me to think about him. You should come to the singing school, she said, in an effort to lighten his mood and her own. The pity she was feeling for him at this moment seemed perilously close to love. Ah, it's not for me, the dancing. Singing? I don't think so. Oh, you never know, you might enjoy it. I'd enjoy the pleasure of your company, he said slyly. Well, we sing for pleasure more than aught else. We like to share songs and melodies. I'm no singer, Jeannie, though I like the old Scots song fine. I do. There's such a wealth of wisdom in the heart of them, but I like to hear them sung with simplicity, a good pure sound, none of your airs and graces, none of your twiddly bits and singing 5 notes when their one will do. I agree with you there. And that's Rob's theory on singing.
So over to you, Ray.
Okay, lovely. Right, so for those that don't know me, I think Anne, Mairi and certainly Joan probably as well. I'm down in the Scottish borders in Hoyt, but for the next singer we'll go up to 5, be Anne Reekie, who I think Anne is going to give us all the airts, I think, so over to you, I think.
And just a wee blether as well, if that's okay.
Good, yeah.
Jean Armour, Belle O'Loughlin, she must have been a pretty strong woman, like all the women of her time were. And there's a little poem by Maya Anthony, which describes strong women all over the place. Storms may rage, winds may howl, yet she sways but never bows. In her heart a core of steel, against life's gales she refuses to kneel. Rooted in courage, in love's rich soil, in her resilience she never spoils. Through seasons change, she remains upright, in her spirit an endless light. Unyielding roots in life's vast flood, in her strength she stands, unshaken, unbowed. Of all the airts the wind can blow, I dearly love the west, for there the bonny lassie lives, the lass I love the best. There wild woods grow and rivers row, and mony's the hill between. But day and night my fancy's flight is ever wi' my Jean. I see her in the dewy flowers, I see her sweet and fair, I hear her in the tuneful birds, I hear her charm the air. There's not a bonny flower that springs by mountain, shaw or green. There's no a bonny bird that sings, but minds me o' my Jean. Thank you.
Nicely sung. I don't think I've heard you sing that one before. Good. Right, so now next on the list I have here tonight is Mairi Leach, who staying in Scotland again with us. Or...
We're just going to have one video between each of the live singers. So we're going to have Pauline up next. Thank you. Thanks, Ray.
Oh, sorry, no, it's Lynn, so we'll come to Mairi after.
Yeah, grand. Thank you very much.
Ready.
Lovely, Anne. Thank you. Right. Okay, so.
Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry I can't be with you in person, but
I'm sorry, Lynn, you need to unmute because your computer's the one the sound's coming through.
Probably more from the view of the present time. So it could be from the point of view of Jean or somebody else he may have gone out with. So it's called My Robert. My Robert has the dearest smile. He twinkles at me and my heart's beguiled. He treats me with respect. I feel that we connect. I really like his style. My Robert makes me faint and weak. When he comes near me, I can hardly speak. He looks me in the eye. All I can do is sigh. It makes me feel a freak. My Robert is a poet, and honey, don't I know it? He speaks to me in verse, for better or for worse. My Robert makes me glad. My Robert is a poet. I hope I do not blow it. I love to hear his voice. He makes my heart rejoice. I hope he's not a cad. My Robert says the sweetest things. He makes me want to dance and sing. He woos me with his rhyme. It happens all the time, to me he is a king. My Robert is so fine and strong, his shoulders square, his legs so long. I tremble at his touch, I fancy him so much, but should I wear a thong? My Robert is a poet, and honey, don't I know it? He speaks to me in verse, for better or for worse. My Robert makes me glad. My Robert is a poet. I hope I do not blow it. I love to hear his voice, he makes my heart rejoice. I hope he's not a cad. My Robert is so fine, he woos me all the time. I'm glad that he's all mine. My Robert is the best, he fills me full of zest. But boy, I think I need a rest. My Robert is a poet, I hope I do not blow it. He speaks to me in verse, for better or for worse. My Robert makes me glad. My Robert is a poet, and honey, don't I know it? I love to hear his voice, he makes my heart rejoice. I hope he's not a cad. I love to hear his voice, he makes my heart rejoice. I hope he's not a cad.
Lovely. Pauline is a bit of a character, but I mean, he used to say that Robert Burns wouldn't be writing such poems now if he lived in these times. It's good. Right, so I think we're definitely going to Mairi this time, and then we'll have another video, and then Joan. So over to you, Mairi.
Thank you. Right, this is I Cohen by Toun. I lie Cohen by Toun, and by yon garden green again. I lie Cohen by Toun, and see my bonny Jean again. There's nane shall ken, and nane shall guess, what brings me back the gate again. But she, my fairest faithful lass, and Stowlands we shall meet again. I lie Cohen by Toun, and by yon garden green again. I lie Cohen by Toun, and see my bonny Jean again. She will wander by the Aiken tree when Tristan time draws near again. And when her lovely form I see, oh, hey, she'll doubly dear again. I lie Cohen by Toun, and by yon garden green again. I lie Cohen by Toun, to see my bonny Jean again. I lie Cohen by Toun, and by yon garden green again. I lie Cohen by Toun, to see my bonny Jean, and see my bonny Jean again.
Lovely. Now then, Mairi. Now, I think the next one is a video, and Lynn sent me a link, but I thought I may be able to download it, but I'm not sure if I can play it. But
Celebration. Sing Bonnie Jean, a ballad by Robert Burns, dated 1793. There was a lass and she was fair, at kirk or market to be seen, when our fairest maids were met. The fairest maid was bonny Jean, and aye she wrought her mammy's work, and aye she sang so merrily. The blithest bird upon the bush had ne'er a lighter heart than she. But hawks will rob the tender joys that bless the little lint white's nest, and frost will blight the fairest flowers, and love will break the soundest nest. Young Robbie was the brawest lad, the flower and pride of all the glen, and he had owsen sheep and kye, and wanton horses 9 or 10. He gaed with Jeanie to the tryst, he danced with Jeanie on the Toun, and long ere witless Jeanie wist, her heart was tint, her peace was stone. As in the bosom of the stream the moonbeam dwells the dewy eve, so trembling pure was tender love within the breast of bonny Jean. And now she works her mammy's work, and aye she sighs with care and pain, yet wisten now what her ail might be, or what would make her weel again. But did not Jeanie's heart look light, and did not joy blink in her e'e, as Robbie told a tale of love at evening on the lily lea? The sun was sinking in the west, the birds sang sweet in ilka grove, his cheek to hers he fondly laid, and whispered thus his tale of love. O Jeanie fair, I love thee dear, O canst thou think to fancy me, or wilt thou leave thy mammy's cot, and learn to tent the farms with me? At barn or byre thou shalt na drudge, nor nothing else to trouble thee, but stray among the heather bells, and tent the waving corn with me. Now what could artless Jeanie do? She had no will to say him na. At length she blushed a sweet consent, and love was aye between them twa. Bonnie Jean. Thank you.
Okay, well done. Oh,
Over to you, Ray.
here we go. Just covered up the windows there. That's another new one to me. There's something about Zoom, I think. I've found I learn new songs almost every day. And certainly every week you hear a song that's maybe hundreds or dozens of years old, but they're certainly new to me. And it's lovely. I like that one. Now, I had a little preview. Who's next? So we're going to Joan. Now, I know Joan from Mudcat in a couple of sessions. So it's over to you now, Joan. And just mute everybody. Mute myself.
Okay, I'm kind of cheating because all the real famous songs that Burns wrote were written about other women, and I didn't want to sing one of those. So of the songs he collected, and he's got his name on them, but it's pretty well acknowledged that he collected them rather than wrote them. He may have contributed something to rearranging them. This is one. I Wauken, and one of the groups that came to Boston to sing told us that this means, yeah, always awake. And so that's what the title means. I walking, I am weary, sleep I can get name, for thinking of my dearie. I walking, summer's a pleasant time, flowers of every color, the water runs o'er the hill, and I long for my true lover. I walking, I am weary, sleep I can get name, but thinking on my dearie, I walking, when I sleep I dream, when I wake I'm eerie, sleep I can get name, but thinking on my dearie, I walking, I am weary, sleep I can get name, but thinking on my dearie, I walking, lonely night comes on, all the lamp are sleeping, I think on my true love, and blare my ear with greeting. I walking, I am weary, sleep I can get name, but thinking on my dearie, I walking. Her father loves her well, her mother loves her better. I love the last myself, but whoa, I cannot get her. I walking, I am weary, sleep I can get name, but thinking on my dearie, I walking. Okay. And I have been informed at on a different Zoom by Trish Santer that you have to spell I-A-Y-E to get it to be pronounced I in modern Scots. And I had a big debate with Jerry over on the Mudcat because he spelled it A-Y and he refused to change it because he said Burns spelled it A-Y. But yeah, Burns spelled it A-Y like hundreds of years ago.
Whatever the spelling, well sung. And I think there's an extra verse in there from the version you normally hear. Certainly the one I know, my pal was in a band called Ocean, and they recorded that. Billy Ross, he recorded it, I think. And it's good to hear the full version, especially in things like this. It's nice. Right. The next one on our list tonight is our host, Lynn, and I had a preview of this one last night, so I got an extra treat. So over to Lynn now.
Not often you hear me sing a cheerful song, so here we go. Leezie, Lindsay. Where ye gang to the Highlands, Leezie, Lindsay? Where ye gang to the Highlands wi' me? Where ye gang to the Highlands, Leezie, Lindsay? My bride and my darling to be. To gang to the Highlands wi' ye, sir, would bring it the tear to my eye, at leaving the green glens and woodlands and streams of mine country. I'll show you the home of the red deer on mountain where waves the tall pine, and as far as the bound of the red deer, ilka moorland and mountain is mine. Will ye gang tae the Hielands, Leezie, Lindsay? Will ye gang tae the Hielands wi' me? Will ye gang tae the Hielands, Leezie, Lindsay? My bride and my darling to be. 1,000 claymores I can muster, ilka blade and its bearer the same, and when round their chieftain they muster, the gallant Argyle is my name. There's dancing and joy in the Hielands, and there's piping and gladness and glee, for Argyle has brought hame Leezie, Lindsay, his bride and his darling to be. Will ye gang tae the Hielands, Leezie, Lindsay? Will ye gang tae the Hielands wi' me? Will ye gang tae the Hielands, Leezie, Lindsay? My bride and my darling to be.
Really about that song. Here we go. Oh, I think according to the list, it's round to me now, and we're running about, which will sound done. And I didn't know what to do. Hazel's sort of been so busy and running around, but that was a semi-cheery song really, so I think I'll go with the Lee rig if I can remember it. And o'er the hill the eastern star tells autumn-time is near, my Joe, and house and tree the furrowed field with sunset elf and weary, oh, down by the burn where birken buds with you are hanging clear, my Joe. I'll meet thee on the lee rig, my ain kind dearie, oh. At midnight o'er the Merkes Glen I drove naith fair and eerie, oh, and through that glen and gated my ain kind dearie, oh. And though the night were ne'er so wild, and were sae ne'er so weary, oh, I'd meet thee on the lee rig, my ain kind dearie, oh. The hunter loves the morning sun, the rouse the mountain deer, my Joe, and noon the fetcher seeks the glen, adin the banthy steer, my Joe, and gie me the hour o' gloaming grey, makes my heart say cheerio. I'll meet you on the Leach, my kind dearie-o. Almost.
Well done, Ray. That was lovely. Thank you. I'm going to just pause the video a moment now, and we'll play Trish Santa playing some lovely tunes for us. So give me a moment. Thank you, Trish and Franz, for that lovely instrumental. So that concludes our contributions to Jean Armour Birthday Sing number 3. Tony, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave the meeting. I really appreciate the invitation, and hopefully we'll stay in touch. Thanks very much for inviting me.
It was lovely to have you along, and thank you so much for your marvellous contribution with that speech as well. Thank you, Tony.
Okay.
So we'll say a final toast to Jean Armour. Final toast to Jean Armour, the wonderful muse of Rabbi Burns, and hopefully we'll come back again next year to do something similar. Can you please all perhaps stay on the line for just another minute to see if you have any other ideas for next year? And I'm just going to put up the final slide. I'm going to pause the recording.